I can see a couple people coming in now. So that's good to see. Fantastic. There we are. Right. A few people have come in already, but as a few more people trickle in, I'll just sort of start introducing what Lightkey is and who I am. Before I get into what Lightkey is, I just want to take a moment, in case you're not familiar with who I am, to sort of introduce myself a bit more formally. I'm James. I am the product specialist for Lightkey and also Abby Fine Reader. And the reason I want to introduce myself is because I do myself have learning disabilities. And I'm a keen user of Lightkey. I find it helps me out tremendously with my work. And I'll show you how as we sort of go through. I personally was diagnosed at 10 years old with dyslexia, dyspraxia, and dyscalculia, and it was at a level severe enough to attend specialist dyslexia boarding schools throughout my education. I didn't have any access to any of this assistive technology, so being part of this industry, it's fantastic to get to work with all these amazing types of tools, and I'm really lucky I get to work with Lightkey specifically because it does help me out tremendously. So what actually is Lightkey? Lightkey is a text prediction software that's powered by artificial intelligence. And that sounds quite fancy, but essentially what it means is it learns from you, the user, learns sort of your vocabulary, it learns your jargon, and it even learns your writing style over time and will save you a tremendous amount of keystrokes. Lightkey also offers real-time spelling and grammar corrections, and that works across 80 plus different languages that it currently works in. Something worth noting is it does work completely offline. Lightkey do not collect any of your user content, any of your data. It's private, it's confidential, and it's completely secure to the user themselves. So we don't collect any data from you. But without further ado, I'll just sort of start showing you what Lightkey is, how it works. If you do have any questions, please do feel free to pop them in the chat with a Q&A and I'll get to them as soon as I see them. But I'll start with the most exciting part of Lightkey is text prediction. And a really useful way to show this is to show how it learns from you and how it learns your vocabulary and your writing style. So I'm going to show you some sentence learning. Currently, Lightkey can learn sentences up to 18 words, and that includes the punctuation. So if I write a sentence, and that sentence is going to be, the spaceship went into orbit. And I'm just going to accept predictions as they come along. And I'll put a little exclamation mark. Now, if I write this out just a few times, as you can see, I've already done it once, and it's already sort of starting to pick up what I'm trying to write. And as you can see, each time I do it, it gets a little closer to giving me the full sentence there. And that's sort of a way that it does learn from you, your writing style. If you write the same thing over and over again, if you're writing about the same topic, or you're writing very specialist vocabulary, it learns as you're going along, as you're writing. You don't even have to do anything. You just have to accept and reject predictions. But you don't have to do it this way organically. We have included various features within the Lightkey dashboard to help the learning process, especially at the beginning. And that's categories or specialist subject dictionaries that are inbuilt in Lightkey. So if I load up my Lightkey dashboard here, pay no attention to this right now. I will be coming back and showing off how I've been using it. If I come down to prediction profile, is where all 80 plus languages are going to be, but I actually want to come up to categories up here. And as mentioned, these are specific and dictionaries for specific subjects, for specific industries. We have technology, industry, business, finance, there's even medical. So a lot of medicine students do have very long words, and if they have dyslexia, or even if they're just a student who struggles with extremely specific medical vocabulary, they can select this medicine dictionary. We also have academic, so students studying a range of different subjects can use this. And then to activate them, it's extremely easy. You literally just click them on. You can click on as many as you like. Whether there's ever a student that's studying mathematics and linguistics at the same time, we'll have to see. But it also goes beyond this. We have custom categories. So let's say there wasn't a category within here specific to that student, or they really want Lightkey to learn their specific writing style, their specific vocabulary, their work to save them as many keystrokes as possible. They can create their own custom categories. So you can either come to create category, simply import a file, accepts most types of documents, PowerPoint, Word, Excel, TXT documents, or we can simply drag the document directly from anywhere into anywhere in Lightkey. Now we can give it a name, and then we can select any of these three areas. And what do these mean? Well, learn individual words is quite simple. It's just going to learn those individual words, those individual pieces of vocabulary, and add them to the dictionary. Learn full sentences is particularly useful for those perhaps with physical disability to save as many keystrokes as possible. I use this quite heavily within my work. And learn common phrases. This is the one I'll be selecting right now. But essentially, that's going to take the document, that's going to take the repeated phrases and learn them. That's going to take the context. It's not going to rip full sentences out there. It's simply import as new category. Literally takes a couple seconds there. And it'll be this sort of lighter shade of blue, so we know that it's working. Now, this is the actual document that I've uploaded here, and I want to show you the word I'm going to show off right now. This is about Miguel de Montague, who first coined the term essays. He wrote a series of essays and coined the term. But if I was a student studying him, I would have to write his name fully each and every time. I'd maybe have to go leave my document, Google it, copy and paste over and over again, or I'd struggle through to sort of spell it correctly every single time. So by using this custom category and uploading this document, I don't need to do that. If I come back to my original Word document here, and now if I write Miguel de Montague, so it's been able to sort of learn that very specific jargon, that very specific vocabulary for us instead. As I mentioned, I actually use this for my emails. It saves me a tremendous amount of keystrokes. So I've previously uploaded, say, my email templates. You as assessors, for instance, or our trainers, or whoever else is on this call, can upload previous documents and select maybe learn full sentences. And come down to here. Now I just wait 1 second while it updates in the corner for me. Come to my emails. As you can see, I'm up here in the subject line. I can write good, fills in the time of the day, and it's also going to fill in the recipient for me. And pop in, I hope you're well. Thank you for requesting a license to Lightkey. So if you do get this email afterwards, if you ask for a license for Lightkey, I'm sorry, I've been cheating a little bit. But that took me maybe 7, 8 keys to hit. And then it filled in that entire sentence for me. So if I was someone with that physical disability, it can fill in the entire sentence for me, saving me tremendous amount of cognitive energy, physical energy when working. I'm just going to turn that off here and return to my Word document. So beyond the text predictions, Lightkey is simultaneously even spelling and grammar correction tool. So it does 2 in 1, essentially. And from day one, Lightkey is trained in various methods of spelling. So the first method I'll show you is phonetic, a very common style of dyslexic spelling. I often spell like this. So if I write phonetic itself, I can spell phonetic. You can spell that out phonetically, and it was able to pick that up. And these can be quite complex spelling. An example I like to use is the bureaucracy in Mississippi. As you can see right there, it's actually done two complex spellings at the same time. So it can do a number of complex spellings simultaneously for me. Just accept that my Lightkey doesn't get confused. Another really awesome method I like to show off a bit is the key location. So Lightkey knows where all the keys are located on my keyboard. So let's say I'm writing very, very quickly, or I have a physical dexterity issue where perhaps hand-eye coordination is not ideal. If I'm hitting the adjacent keys or close enough, they'll be able to identify still what I'm spelling just based on that key location. So if I write it went well for Lightkey. So as you can see, I was nowhere close to actually hitting the correct keys for Lightkey, but even still, it's been able to identify that I was trying to write Lightkey in that instance. I think amazing. Lightkey is very powerful in terms of the grammar, so it does the spelling text prediction, and it also does the grammar simultaneously. And it's very powerful, and it's something we're always looking to improve, and it's near perfect at the moment there. So if I write out a sentence, which is Lightkey, don't collect its user content, you can see it can do multiple things simultaneously there. So it goes back, corrects don't to doesn't. It's got two spelling corrections there, and it's even removed the apostrophe from its. If I was to use a traditional spell checker, the one inbuilt in Word, it's going to correct don't to don't, which is what I wrote, but unfortunately, grammatically, it's not correct. Let's check in the Q&A. So Kim has just asked in the Q&A, where's the information processed and stored? It is all stored directly on your device. Like, you do not collect any information from you, the user. None of your content, none of your forms you upload, nothing is stored from us in Lightkey. Happy to send you a privacy policy afterwards, Kim, if you want, or if anyone else wants that as well. I'm happy to provide that. I can just take a little bit of a detour and show you exactly where all your vocabulary is, if everyone's happy just for me to detour really, really quick. So if I come down to preferences on the dashboard, and it's across to prediction, this is where you can go through literally any number of settings. There are videos in here as well, so if you don't remember or you're looking a little bit more, you can find them all in your dashboard. But right slap bang here is manage my vocabulary. And this is just where everything you've written, everything you've uploaded is stored. You can export this if you get a new device, and you can back up your data as well. But to clarify, Lightkey don't collect any of your information. It's all just on your device. So another thing that can affect dyslexic users, and found personally quite a lot, is similar words. So there, and there, whether and whether. So if I write and go back and go correct that, it can go as far in the sentence as necessary to correct those mistakes. It can even use, say, the sentence structure to identify whether it was a grammatical mistake. So if I write, I hope the weather holds up for you. For you, it will just go back and it will just correct that for me. Not many people know this, but Lightkey actually does have an inbuilt calculator as well. So you would have to leave your document, open up a separate calculator app, pull out your phone in the middle of your workplace or in the middle of your classroom, or carry a big clunky calculator around if you do have a physical disability. I can just do my maths equations directly within Lightkey. Hit equals, it will do the sum, and I will just accept or reject that prediction. These can be very complicated as well. So it is an asterisk for times, and it's a / for divide. And then again, you just hit equals and it'll give me my prediction. I do this calculator. I'm very bad at math, so if anyone knows if that is correct, I'd much appreciate it. But I am trusting like he's got it spot on for us on this occasion. Now, these are quite small things for many people, having the spelling done for you, having the grammar done for you, having the maths, so you don't have to leave and come back. I personally have executive function issues. I have poor working memory, and I need to focus on my documents. If I was to have to keep leaving, I might lose my train of thought. I might get distracted. I might not be able to continue on with my work. So by making these very small micro adjustments, it can help me as a dyslexic user, it can help any number of users with ADHD or ADD continue on with their work. I actually read recently it can take about 20 minutes to get back in the flow of things after a break. So if you can imagine a student with a learning disability, and that happens every time, it's going to take a very long time. It's going to take a lot of mental strain on that student. Lightkey does work anywhere. I've shown you briefly that it works on Google, that works through a Chrome extension. Natively, it will work in most locations, but we have a solution for areas that it doesn't natively work, and that's called Lightkey Anywhere. And that actually has auto-on technology. So if it's somewhere you're using a lot, by using Lightkey Anywhere, it will learn that you like to use it there. And the example I will use is Excel. So if I come up to the box here, to activate your Lightkey Anywhere, you literally hit Alt, and you click in the box. And as you can see, it says press enter to paste your text. So now if I write the spaceship went, and then hit enter to input that. Now if I do this about 3, maybe 4 times, it's going to learn that I like to use my Lightkey up here. And this time, I'm not going to hit that Alt click. I'm just going to start writing, and hopefully it's going to have learned already that I like to use it here. So yes, it has. Now it's natively giving me the predictions. So if it's somewhere that you'll use it, but it doesn't work straight away in the first place, this is a really useful trick to get it to automatically work. And as I like to say all the time, Lightkey learns from you. It learns from you as the user through this artificial intelligence. So the more you engage with it, the better. Back to my document here. So I mentioned previously as well that Lightkey does work in 80 plus different languages. That includes Welsh, Irish, Scottish Gaelic, to name a few regional languages, but also a plethora of international languages as well. So if I come to my dashboard, and again, it's just for the section marked prediction profile, up the top is languages. I have mine activated in English and Spanish, but you can just select any of these languages all down here. You can have as many languages as you like. Now, Lightkey learns from you, the user. So if you are someone who speaks in multiple languages, if you like to work across multiple languages, you're flitting between English and Spanish, for instance, constantly, you don't need to change the keyboard or do anything as long as they're both activated. But I don't speak enough Spanish, to be honest. So I'm going to just quickly come down here and change my keyboard just for the sake of the demo. I have actually been learning Spanish for the past 2 years. And to be honest, I'm not very good at it. You're about to see the pinnacle of my Spanish abilities. Gracias por venir. That means thank you for coming. And everything that you've seen so far, all the grammar, all the spelling, all the text predictions, that works across the whole 80 plus different languages. Just have to change it back to English so it still gives me predictions here. But we also have a range of visual impairment features, and these are reasonably new, sort of the last few months, thereabouts. So Lightkey is screen reader enabled, so JAWS, Windows Narrator, and NVIDIA work within Lightkey. But if you can see this tab up here marked accessibility settings, this is where there are additional features. I will just tell you what these two are. They're not for visual impairment, but they're very important features, especially during the setup. Optimize prediction experience for people with dexterity or physical typing difficulties. The goal of this, and the general overall goal of Lightkey, is to save the user as many keystrokes as possible to give predictions. This is to save additional keystrokes. Now, this can lead to less accurate predictions at the start, but by the time Lightkey has learned who you are and you've uploaded some documents into Lightkey, that won't be a problem. But this is just to provide earlier keystrokes, earlier predictions for those with physical disabilities. Optimize prediction experience for people with dyslexia or other learning difficulties. This is something I get asked quite a lot, is when it learns from you, let's say you're someone with dyslexia like myself, you make the same mistake, you make it over and over again, you miss a word out or you spell something wrong the same way, maybe Lightkey will learn this as specific vocabulary, specific jargon for you. This is to sort of remove that problem where it increases the threshold before Lightkey can learn any possible mistakes. So it's very important to have that activated if you have that sort of issue with spelling. So now to the visual impairment features. We have a range of different color highlights. So I currently have mine on the high contrast theme. It helps me as a dyslexic person sort of focus on where I'm writing, where I'm working within the document. But it was actually developed for people with low vision to sort of help them focus on where the work is. You have the default theme. This is very discreet and casual in the background. A lot of people don't want to be loud and proud about their dyslexia or learning disability, or don't want to have it punching them in the face. So this is, as I say, casual in the background. We also have the orange, blue, and green theme, and this was actually developed for people with color blindness. If you ever get anyone with color blindness, this might take some of that strain on them. Next, we have read aloud. Now, this doesn't work across all 80 plus different languages, but it does work in English and Spanish, for example. Read aloud will simply read aloud the predictions and it will read aloud the corrections. It's not a text-to-speech. It won't read out entire paragraphs or anything, but it'll read out the predictions and corrections. So if you have visual impairment, or maybe you're even just a keyboard watcher when you're writing, this will read them aloud for you so you know there are predictions happening. We've set predictions as male, corrections as female. We found it very important to easily identify the difference between a prediction and a correction. Voice speed is fully adjustable. Interestingly enough, quite a lot of the users listen to it quite quickly. So that's why we put this setting in, so they can listen to it at their own speed. And then we simply tab it on. And I return to my document here.
Spaceship went into orbit.
I'm hoping the sound came through okay, but as you could see, it was just sort of reading aloud the predictions for me. And that's right.
Boost. Bureaucracy.
And it will just read aloud my spellings and it will read aloud my predictions for me. Lastly, as I mentioned, I'm a big user of Lightkey. It generally does help me. I'm really lucky that I get to work with the great tool like Lightkey. I'll show you my dashboard. It saved me 9 hours. I know what you're thinking, but I have been rejected for a day off, unfortunately. I will keep asking. Maybe when I get to save 14 hours, Matt and Anthony might let me have a day off. But since I've been using this license from the end of January, it saved me nearly 10 hours, substantial amount of time, substantial amount of cognitive energy saved, which can show you sort of how it's helped you over time. It can show you how many keystrokes, how you're using it, where you're using it. You can opt for text predictions to be on and off. You can remove the corrections. You can even add sound assistance, which is just a little bell sound to let you know predictions are happening in case you're missing them. I can drop it into my productivity metrics. I can see how I've been using it, where I've been using it, maybe see if there's any patterns in my workflow that might be important to optimize how I'm studying or how I'm working going forward. But that, my friends, would probably be all the cool bits. There's a lot more to discover, a lot more sort of advanced things that you can do with Lightkey. It's definitely worth playing around. If you have any questions, please let me know. But yes, does anyone have any questions, any thoughts, anything they want me to go a little bit further into? Fantastic. Doesn't look like any questions. You can still pop them. Oh, something in the chat. Yes, Tracy, it offers up to 18 words, including punctuations in the text predictions. So currently we've got up to 18 words there. Fantastic. Any other questions? Oh, sorry, something in the Q&A. Let me just check that. Yes, Kim, I'm more than happy to send you a license. I'll be following up with an email to everyone afterwards, which will have the link to the video. So if you did miss part of it, absolutely fine. You can rewatch it. Feel free to send it to any of your coworkers or anyone who might find it useful, or even just refer back to it for training purposes. Um, Thank you very much, Tracy. Thank you very much, Kim. Great seeing you all. If anyone has any more questions, let me know. But as I said, follow up with an email and I'll get licenses sent out to those who need them. Thank you very much. Bye, everyone. Have a great week. Thank you, Kim. Nice to get a round of applause. Fantastic. Perfect. I'll just end there. Thank you very much, everyone.